Lieutenant Commander Scott Larson, Prospective Executive Officer, LCS Crew 204, USS Coronado. Good morning. My name is Lieutenant Commander Scott Larson. I am the Executive Officer of USS Coronado, LCS 4. The captain sends his regrets, but he is unable to speak with you this morning. As has been previously reported by the Commander, U.S. Naval Forces Central Command, USS Coronado recently rescued 16 distressed Iranian civilians in the southern Arabian Gulf. The rescue took place at approximately 05:30 local time on the morning of 18 November. Coronado was conducting routine operations in the 5th Fleet area of responsibility at the time. The civilians had been adrift for approximately 36 hours after their fishing vessel experienced an engine casualty, and the 16 victims were comprised of 12 adult males and 4 teenage males. All were reported to be in good health at the time of their rescue with no significant injuries sustained, fortunately. Weather conditions in the Arabian Gulf also were favorable at the time of rescue, reducing the possibility of a more tragic outcome. DoD and the State Department coordinated efforts to successfully repatriate the rescued mariners to their home country of Iran. All rescued individuals were cared for on board Coronado and provided clothing, nourishment, and any medical care that they required. I would also like to conclude by saying that USS Coronado is the newest littoral combat ship to be commissioned into naval service. Our highly trained and dedicated crew consists of approximately 75 personnel, and the ship has been deployed to the 5th Fleet area of responsibility for the last 3 months. So that concludes my formal statement. I'm happy to take any questions you may have at this time. Yes, ma'am.
Sir, Catherine Devine from Reuters. I have a couple of parts to my question. First, how did you identify these, you said civilians, as Iranians? And then once you had them on board, you said that you gave them medical attention and food and care. How did you respect their culture and their religion while they were on board your ship?
Yes, ma'am. We identified them as Iranians, first and foremost because their vessel was flying an Iranian flag. And in addition, we have a trained linguist on board who was able to identify their dialect as a version of Iranian Farsi. In terms of the nature of care that was provided to the distressed mariners, we received a significant amount of cultural awareness training prior to our deployment, and my crew was extremely well versed in how to properly care for, not only medically, but in terms of food and whatnot for individuals in the region. Yes, sir.
Martin Optiplex with the Perception Times. Real quick, where did you house these Iranian citizens, and how did you keep for the welfare and security and safety of the crew on board?
We were able to provide sufficient shelter and care for the distressed mariners on board the ship. Our personnel, once again, were trained prior to deployment on appropriate handling of civilians, rescued mariners, things of that nature. So due to that training, at no time was my crew, did I ever question their capability to properly and effectively care for these distressed civilians.
Were these Iranian civilians under 24-hour security? And also, did crew get displaced for the Iranians to take care of?
We did maintain a security watch on the Iranian civilians for their protection as well as ours, given that they were as unfamiliar with their surroundings on a Navy ship as we were with them being on the ship. So it was mutually beneficial for us to do that.
Show in more detail, were there armed security guards patrolling the areas or an overwatch?
Armed security guards? It was a U.S. Navy warship, sir. We're armed 24/7. So, any more questions? Yes, sir.
Sasso St. John of the Everett Whiteboard. You said Arabian Gulf, Persian Gulf. Where exactly?
Southern Arabian Gulf, sir.
Southern Arabian Gulf. Okay, so 16 members. They weren't fishing? What were they doing?
They were claimed.
Sounds like a smuggling ring to me. Find anything else?
We did not find any contraband that would indicate nefarious or illicit activity. That's all I'm at liberty to say at this point, sir.
Okay, one follow-up question. You mentioned to the esteemed colleagues to my left earlier that they were on board the ship. Did you set up your detainee handling bill, or did they displace people outside of berthing compartments?
They did not displace any personnel outside of berthing compartments. LCS or USS Coronado specifically, we have the benefit or the luxury of quite a bit of scalability in terms of our ability to accommodate additional personnel from a berthing standpoint. So none of the crew members were displaced from their berthing to accommodate the Iranians. And in terms of the detainee bill, we did not treat these personnel or these distressed mariners as detainees, but some of the similar protocols do apply in terms of their handling and their care. Yes, sir.
Abu Mahab from Al Jazeera. We have reports that all members were strip searched before they were placed in this confined area where they were held. Can you comment on that?
I can categorically confirm that that did not occur, and that all of the distressed Iranian mariners that were taken on board were treated in a humane, respectful, and proper manner.
Is there any reason why females were standing guard over them?
Females were part of my crew, and they were part of my security organization, and they were providing security in conjunction with male crew members as well.
Can you comment on what they were fed while they were on board?
I'm sorry, sir.
Can you comment on what they were fed while they were on board?
I would have to go back and confirm that with my culinary specialist, sir. I can assure you that their nourishment was consistent with cultural norms, and at no time were they provided any food that did not comply with their religious requirements.